Welcome, welcome, welcome to Let's Team Up, getting started with Microsoft Teams. I am so excited to have the amazing Felisa Ford with us today. So I'm going to go through some announcements very, very quickly, and then we're going to move on. If you are watching this live and you're here with us, you can get a certificate by filling out the evaluation. But if you're watching this on YouTube, there is no certificate. However, the resources that she's going to give to everyone, if you look right under the video, you'll see the description. Click show more. If you click show more, you'll see the link for the resources. So you still get all the same resources as if you were here live. I am Dr. Desiree Alexander. I am the founder, CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting. I am also I work for an educational nonprofit in the state of Louisiana. Started my career as a 6th grade and 8th grade English teacher, became a high school English teacher, middle school librarian, high school librarian, district level instructional technology supervisor, and now I'm doing this. So I love when I say that in person and people are like, you don't look old enough. I'm like, thank you. All right. So I probably do after COVID. I think I've aged 20 years staying at home working. But on Twitter, I'm at Educator Alex. On other social media, Educator Alexander. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of amazing videos on there, including all the webinars that we do. So hopefully you've had time to take a picture of this if you want it, or write something down. So these are some of the upcoming free webinars. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because you can register for all of them at edalex.net/events. Tomorrow, I'm doing a classroom management. I did it last summer and people loved it, so I told them I would do it again this summer. So classroom management is tomorrow. Next Saturday is misinformation in the information age with Andy. I mean, I feel like I want every adult, child, baby, everyone to come and see this webinar so they can stop thinking everything they see online is true. Then at the end of August, we have the Bitmoji webinar. Nobody teaches Bitmojis like Jen. I mean, just
and
nobody.
I love her, Desiree. She's in my department too.
Oh my, I'm just gonna shut y'all down. Whatever
I
school
love Jen.
people, her department has put out, it's like Motown, y'all. They have the greatest presenters. It's ridiculous. But she, like, nobody teaches Bitmojis. Like somebody was like, can you teach Bitmojis? I was like, I am not. You need to get the master of Bitmojis, which is Jen. All right, so we got that on August 29th. And then we have the incredible Inky. If you know Inky, you love Inky, teaching us about differentiating assignments in Google Classroom. And then we have Sarah Kiefer. If you don't know her, you're crazy. Like, you need to go ahead and get together. And she's going to be teaching templates for teachers with Beth. And then they do have a summer camp from Kids Academy. It's for pre-K students, not pre-K through 3rd grade, I guess I should say. Yeah, pre-K students through 3rd grade students. It's completely free for educators because you can get a trial, but for parents it's $20. But if you go to my website, you get a $5 off coupon, so it's $15. It does end in August, I think at the end of August, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely go and register for that on my website. Today, right after this, I'm doing an ed camp for Region 10 in Texas. If you're part of Region 10, it's completely free. If you're not part of Region 10, it is a cost. I don't know exactly what the cost is, but it's mainly a virtual PD day for librarians. So I'll be doing 2, one about digital equity and all that good stuff. So all kind of good stuff later on today. And then I do sessions for BER. I have a generic distance learning class, but this one is distance learning specifically for ELA, middle and high school teachers. So you can go find out more information about that on my website. And we will have an evaluation at the end. I will put the link 15 minutes before the session ends. 15 minutes before the session ends, I'm going to post the link in the chat, and then I'll just keep posting it. And that's how you get your certificate, is if you fill out the evaluation. Do not private message me in the middle of the presentation and say, hey, when you gonna post this shit? Because I'm gonna say, hey, pay attention. All right. So love you guys. So I am super duper duper excited. Felisa is going to share her screen. She is going to go ahead and get started. You do not come to hear me. I know somebody's aggravated right now. How about you calm down? It's a free session. You calm down. So I'm going to shut my face and let her take over.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. And it's just a coincidence that you had Jen Hall doing her Bitmoji thing. And this is my Bitmoji classroom. I think this is a great idea to have with us all doing remote learning. It's always a good idea to try to give students some type of sense of normalcy. So have a class, have a virtual class that they can come to so that they know where and how to get started. So we're going to begin. This is Let's Team Up, getting started with Microsoft Teams. So Desiree, I would really be interested if people could show in the chat if they've used Teams or if they're totally new, never tried it, and just trying to find out if it would be something they may be interested in. That would be interesting to know so that I can see who's in the house. And I'm glad you also said that a lot of people come to your trainings for Google. Guess what? I'm from Atlanta Public Schools, and we are a hybrid district. We use both. We say that there's room for both, and it just depends on what you want to do to get the job done at that moment, which tool you use. So we're not married to either tool either. So that's important to know. I am Felisa Ford. I am a digital learning specialist with Atlanta Public Schools. This is my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. And this is our entire team. There are amazing ed tech specialists in my department. We're always doing something on Twitter. So we use Twitter a lot of times as our professional learning network. And if you're not on Twitter, that may be a good tool for you to have because there's always something available for you. Okay, so this is the surprise, and I hope the link is dropped in the chat, but I'm also a co-author of the Microsoft Infused Classroom, and I'm giving a book away today. So all you have to do is sign up at the link. I'll pick a winner, get your email address, and you will get a free copy of our book. I co-wrote this with Holly Clark, Tanya Everett, and of course, one of my very own colleagues, Dr. Natasha Rachel. So we're extremely excited about this. So let's get social. Once again, follow me on Twitter, but you can also follow Microsoft Teams. If you want to learn more about Teams, they're always putting information out there. Or even at Microsoft EDU, there's always tons of information available for you because we're always constantly learning and growing. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and dive into this session. We're going to talk about Teams 101, class flow in Teams, and then I have some bonus resources for you, especially in light of the remote situation a lot of us find ourselves in. And I don't know if you're like me, but our teachers come back Monday. Really, summer is over for us. And I know we have participants from all over the globe, but a lot of us are preparing for back to school, and it's right around the corner. So hopefully you'll get something from this session today. If you do not have an Office 365 account, do not worry. Microsoft has made Office 365 free for all teachers and students. All you need to do is go to the Get Started with Office 365 for free link, and I have that in the resource as well. Click on that link, put in your school email address, and you can get your free Office 365 account, and Teams is located right in Office 365. And so once you go to Office 365, you can really just type in office.com, and it will bring you to this landing page. We call this the portal, and Teams is located right there. So one thing I want to tell you though about Teams, Teams is located here, but when you open it up, you also have the option to download it onto your desktop. And I typically like to use the desktop version more so than the web version, but they work pretty much the same. It's just that the desktop version has a few more features. So what is Microsoft Teams? I am so glad you asked this question. I love working with teachers on using Teams. It is a digital learning hub that allows you to create and collaborate and engage with your students to create these collaborative learning experiences. both inside and outside the classroom. The great thing about teams is once you create your team and set it up, your students never have to leave out of the Teams platform for anything. All of the content, all of the resources, any website you use can be brought right into the Teams platform. So this is a way for you to kind of protect your students, keep them safe online, especially now that everything is happening remotely. And we don't want our students to just be out on the web and, they can go down these rabbit holes exploring on Google or wherever. This keeps them kind of contained in the platform so that there is more protection and more safety for our students. And we're always looking to keep them safe. So why Microsoft Teams? One reason is that Microsoft Teams helps us save time and organize. It also helps us collaborate and engage. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. In our district, we have a lot of teachers that do use Google Classroom, but they also utilize the OneNote class notebook. And I'll show you how that looks and feels as well. So as you see, you can always, there's room to use multiple tools. So just have an open mind. Let's go ahead and get into Teams 101. This is the basics of Microsoft Teams. So first of all, Teams is this one-stop shop for everyone, everything, and you're all connected in this hub, whether it's for teaching and learning. If you are an administrator in charge of professional development, you could have a PLC team, a class team, or if you are a principal, you could have a staff team, or maybe a district or even a department chair, you could have a staff team for faculty and staff collaboration, for creating student engagement and building community, and even for research. So what Team allows you to do, first of all, it allows you to have all of your conversations in one place, whether it's through calls, chats, or through creating an actual team. It also allows you to bring in those Microsoft tools that we're all familiar with, plus more. There are new tools that you may not even be aware of, but you can bring all of those into the Team Hub. And on top of that, all of these third-party applications that we love, like Wakelet or Nearpod or Buncee or Kahoot, Pear Deck, you can bring all of those into Teams for your students to help create that engagement in your remote learning environment, because that's what we want to make sure, that despite however we're teaching them, we want our students to definitely be engaged. So this is a way to do that. And then with the class teams, as I said, it brings in a class notebook. It also brings in assignments, and you can bring in Flipgrid to amplify your students' voice while in Teams. So that's a great resource to have. So let's just look at Microsoft Teams, the hub of this teamwork. First of all, it promotes all of this communication, as I discussed. It also helps us collaborate. Within Teams, you can instantly collaborate on these integrated Microsoft files, whether it's through PowerPoint, Word, Excel, you name it, you can collaborate on it right in Teams. Or you can even customize your Teams for whatever favorite applications you use, whether it's Adobe, Creative Cloud, ThingLink, any third-party app, or just even a website that you may typically use with your student. You can bring that website right into Teams. It also keeps students safe. We talked about that, so we want to make sure that our students are safe at all times. The great thing about Teams, it works on any device. Students have access anytime, any place, whether it's a desktop, a MacBook, a tablet. If they're working on their phone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android, and it works on any of these browsers. So your students should have access to Teams no matter where they are. So how does it look? This is actually my Teams landing page, and I'm getting ready to come off of this presentation and take you live, but you can set it up where it's tiles or a list, and you just click join or create a team, just like you would in some of the other applications. So what I want to do right now, I'm going to come off of this. I'm going to take you to my actual team. So this is it, the actual team. Let's go ahead and look at how easy it is for you to create a team. So you just click join or create. And I want to create a team because I want to walk you through the process that you would take. So I create this team, and it asks you what type of team do you want to create. So I'm going to create a class team. So you just fill in the information. I'm just going to write tests or something just so that you can see how quickly it works. And you can either create it from an existing team or you can use a template. So I'm going to just skip that and just go to next. And just like that, it begins to create my team. I can add my students. You can also upload your students at one time. I can add a co-teacher if I want to, and I'll just add a co-teacher. And the co-teacher will be an owner. So this is great if you're ever out, you will all will have access to this same team. And I'll add a student just so that you can see how that works. And I'm just going to do one, and when I close that, it will instantly, just like that, it has created my team. It was that fast. So we're going to continue on with the presentation, but I just wanted to show you real fast how you could do that. Also, let me show you how you can actually have students join your team. We'll do that when I come back. So we're going to go back out to our presentation and continue. So, as I said, these are the 4 different types of teams. There's a team for any need you may have. If you're a teacher, the class team is the way to go. If you are over PLCs or a department chair or an instructional leader, you may want to do a professional learning community team. Any type of an administrator or a staff team. Or if you're just in charge of clubs or you just want your own personal team for whatever reason, you can just create a regular team for after school clubs or for personal use. So just know that you have all of these teams available. And all of these teams have in common, they all come with a OneNote notebook. And I don't know if you're familiar with OneNote, but OneNote is absolutely amazing. It's your digital binder. So we're going to look at the teams. We're going to review teams right now and look over at the basic interface of teams and how it works and how it's set up. So the first thing about teams is to know that everything on this left side of teams is called the me space. And we call it the me spaces because these are all the things that are pertaining to you specifically. No one else can see this information but you. It's about your files, any chats that you may have, any activities that may be addressed to you, any assignments that you may have that are outstanding or your students would have. So that's the me space. This is the app bar. So this is where all of your applications will be located. This is where you will find your different teams, your different chats. Activities lets you know any activity that you have going on across all of your teams. So this is a way to minimize you missing emails or anything. It gives you notification right here and it doesn't clutter up your email. So that's a great tool as well. And then you can bring your files in and you can also bring in additional videos if you need to extend your learning on Teams. You can bring in these demonstration videos right in Teams. So we talked about the activity, the chat, and Teams. All of this is in the app bar and assignments. So students would always receive these notifications, and the calendar is so important. We're going to focus on the calendar shortly and your files. So this is everything that you need for the me space. So now let's look at the we space. This is called, well, this is the left rail. So here in the left rail, Teams is divided into channels, and channels is nothing more than many communication, almost like small groups. So a channel is really a small group within a team. So if you're a teacher, you can have multiple small groups for breakout rooms, whatever you need to do. For maybe by periods, you could have a channel. So you can set up channels any way you choose to, and you can make them public or private. So then over here to the right, this is the canvas. This is the we space. So this is where all of the communication with your team members happen. This is where all of those discussions take place. And this is really where the magic happens with the communication and the collaboration right here in the we space. Also, what you need to know, this is tabs. Tabs are key to Teams. You have a conversation tab. Actually, it's called posts now. So the post is where all conversation takes place. You also have the files tabs. And I created a class notebook. So every team If it's a class team, it will come with a class notebook. It will come with assignments, and you have additional tabs that you can add. So just keep that in mind. You can also search for any information or search for anyone in the command bar. So this is a great way to find something. If you know someone posted something, or you can't remember, but you knew you saw it there, just put it in the search bar, the command bar, and you can easily find whatever you're looking for. Or you can always mention someone. If you want someone to know you need to pay attention to this, just mention them and they will get a notification. Teams is also available on the phone, the same experience, the same activities right here on a phone. So this is how it looks. So and this is the app drawer where you can get all of your files and the navigations, because we know our students are on different types of devices, so they can access your team from any device. We just talked about channels. Channels are dedicated sections within your teams, and they're always going to be right here on the left rail. This is why you'll know everything that's going on in your teams. They help you organize content, whether it's by topics, projects, or even by class periods. This is also a place for you to have conversations. Every channel comes with its own conversations tab, with its own files tab, and also with its own ability to add additional resources right here, so you can always customize your channels. You can also create private channels. And private channels, this would be something that you may have, maybe you need to support students in a special situation. You may want to make that channel private. So only the students that you add to that channel can access that channel. No one else, unless they have put in that channel from the beginning. One thing that you need to know about private channels, if you make a channel private when you're creating it, you cannot go back and open it. You cannot make it public again. So that's the only drawback about making a channel private from the beginning. You do not have the ability to change that setting from the beginning. All right, so then the notifications, the mentions, and the bows. Let's talk about that. How do you stay on top of things in Teams? First is the activity bell. This lets you know that anything that's related to you in any team that you have, this was where you can find out what it is that's going on related to you, so that you can quickly address it. Then you have the chat. This is where you can start a new chat. You can even have a favorite chat of people that you may communicate with all the time. You can go ahead and create a group chat for those people, so that you have instant chat with them at any time that you need to. And then, of course, your teams. This is where if you've been directly mentioned in a team, you will have these notifications. So this is how you will know what's going on in teams that's related to you. And of course, if it's bold, then that means that something new has been posted in that channel that you may not have seen, but you might want to take a look at, especially if it's applicable to you. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to come out again so that we can see real time what this looks like. And
we do have a couple of questions.
Okay, sure.
So one is, can you change the font in your Microsoft Team?
Unfortunate, well, you know what? You can change, and I'll show you that. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. You can change it once you get inside of your team. And I'm going to open up my remote learning team. And I will show you how you can change that. And you can actually see it right here. You can change it just like, this is just like a standard Microsoft formatting document right here. You have access to this. If I start a new conversation or whatever, this is where I can change like the text size. You know, I can make some changes to it right here. Is where I have control.
Okay, two more questions.
Okay.
One is it compulsory for the students to create their account before working on Teams?
No, it is not. And I need, like, can you expound on that?
So Mona, if you can clarify that in the chat. And then last question, Microsoft Teams worked with does Microsoft Teams work with Gmail or organizational accounts other than Hotmail?
Yes, it does. So on that page that I told you to go to for the free accounts, you can use your school Gmail accounts. You can use any school email account you can use here. Even if you are a Google school, you can use that in that free Microsoft resource link, and it will give you a free Office 365 account.
Thank you so much.
All right. So guys, I just showed you in the presentation, but I want to take you real time into what this looks like. So I'm going to go back here. As I said, these are all of my teams, but this is the team that we're going to work out of today. So if you look here, every team has a general channel. That's the first channel that it comes with. Every team has posts, and posts are just conversations that people have made. Every team comes with a file. And so you can do a lot with files, and we'll talk about that. And while we're here in files, because this is a class team, every class team comes with the class materials files. So what this does, this allows the teacher to add any class resources, but students cannot edit the resources that are placed in this class materials file. They can make copies of it, they can do whatever, but they cannot edit it. But if you put any files here, right, in the general files tab, or if you create a new file here, and you can create a new Word document, and I'll do that real fast. And I'm gonna just name this test. When you create a new document, this gives everyone instant access to collaborate on that document. So every student in that team has or every person in that team at this point has instant access to collaborate on this document if it's created right there in the teams. So I wanted you to know that, but that is files. You can also upload documents from your desktop, or even you can put links into documents, or you can download documents. So that's the beauty of files. Over here, we also have the class notebook, and I'll get into this in more detail, but these are all called tabs. A class team also comes with an assignments tab, and I have 5 more things that I've done. It also comes with a grades tab, and these other items are things that I've added, so I'll show you those later. So over here on the left, as we said, this is the left rail, and if you notice, I created some channels that are breakouts. I wanted some breakout rooms. Right now, you have to create your own breakout rooms, and I'll show you how we do that. But just know in August, there are 25 new features coming to Teams, and breakouts is one of those features, so that you don't have to kind of create your own breakouts the way we did this. You will be able to instantly create breakout rooms with the click of a button. So I created a channel just for this webinar called Educator Alexander. And I went ahead and put in some information, but I wanted you all to see how that works. So I'm going to go back to the presentation so that you can continue to see what we have going on, and then I'll come back and talk about it. Are there any more questions before I move on with that piece?
Just do students need to log in with their school IDs before they join team?
No, you can actually give students a join code. So there are multiple ways that you can do add students. You can add them, and you can give them a link to the teams, or you can give them a join code. So let me go back and show you this. Here, students, you can give them a join code, and they can enter that code here. And I'll show you how you can get that code to give to your students.
But they do have to have a Microsoft Teams, they have to have a Microsoft account.
Right. Once they create that Office, yes, once they create that Office 365 account, and they can get access to it using a Gmail, using a Google account. So if they go to that Office 365, get for free, and they enter their email, it will create an Office 365 account for them, and it could be with their Gmail account. So they just use that same email to join.
So students can also get the account for free?
Absolutely. Teachers and students all get the account for free. Even if your school doesn't have it, right? Woo, woo. And we love that. We love it because we know that all school districts aren't the same. And Microsoft was just trying to make sure that every teacher and every student had access to Office 365 and to Teams and these resources. Okay, so let's continue on. So one thing to know about Teams is that there is so much power in post. This Teams is where in post, this is where you can have a lot going on. You can have announcements, interact through emojis, have your students react to a post. There's stickers, praises, GIFs or GIFs, depending on which team you're on. You can instantly add YouTube videos, polls, and I'm going to show you how to do all of that right in Teams. So to get started, you have the formatting right here, just like you would in any Office product. You can create a new conversation. This is how you would begin a post, by creating a new conversation. And within that new conversation, you decide if you're going to create a conversation or if you're making an announcement. And I always recommend, if it's something important like a due date, or if there's something that students and their parents need to know, make an announcement, because announcements draw attention to whatever it is that you're saying. And I'm going to show you how you do that after we get through this segment. Then you can create it within the conversation where everyone can reply, or you and the moderators are the only ones can reply. But because it's a class team, you want to make sure that you have that conversation flow, because this is what would happen in a true classroom. If you're having discussions, you have class flow with conversation. So you kind of want that to happen in your team. So just you decide on how you want to do that. You can, as you create your posts and channels, you can have it, you can create it one time and have it go to multiple channels. Say, for instance, you create an announcement in one channel and you teach 4 of the same subjects. You can set it up so that that announcement goes to all 4 classes, or their 4 channels. So it just saves time. Also, within the post, you can add files, upload them from either your team browser or channels, or even OneDrive, or you can upload from your computer if you have files saved on your device. There are also emojis or emoticons, so that this is a fun way to make the conversation fun. A lot of times you can use these emojis and emoticons just to get feedback from students. You know, thumbs up if you understand, or how are you feeling about this content? Just let them answer with an emoji. So that's a fun, creative way for students for you to get feedback from students. There are also, as we said, whether you're Team GIF or Team GIFs, GIFs are available here as well. So you can have students react with a fun GIF in response to a question that you may pose. You know, how would they describe their understanding of this, or whatever the question may be. Let them have a little fun. And then there are stickers. You can customize stickers for your students based on if you saw them doing something that was fabulous, or if they were being creative. You can put their name on this, and who doesn't like a sticker, or who doesn't like to be rewarded? This is a way for you to bring in that SEL, because we know that right now, especially, we need to make sure our students' well-being is taken care of, and ours also. In addition, Stream is a part of Microsoft Teams. And what Stream is, it is Microsoft's video platform, really, where if you record a Stream session, like your class team, your recorded session will be saved instantly in that channel or wherever you're recording it, and it will also live in Stream. So, and you can create interactive videos with Stream as well. So that's a tool that you can use. You can also give students praise, like a badge, a praise badge of if you saw them doing something where they were being a problem solver or whatever, just send out praise to people. So this is a good way, and especially for us now, and even for school leaders, send out praise to your teachers or your staff. This is a great tool for you to use. You can instantly add a YouTube video right in the discussion post without ever leaving. And you can also add an instant poll, all within the post tab. So that's a lot going on with post. So we'll go ahead and go to post right now so that you can see how that works. And do we have any questions about what I've gone over so far with post? All right, so I'm going to show you some of this works real time. So with the conversation, as we said, we could start a new conversation, but I'm going to start an announcement. And we can just say, project due Friday. You can upload your own image if you want to, or they have a few built-in illustrations that you can use. And so if I really want to bring attention to this, I just add this, upload it, and then add a header and just say a subheader. Don't forget. And this is a way to keep your parents also informed. All right, and so then I just send it out and instantly it's there. And one way that, this is what I like to do for students, to make sure that we're all on the same page, I ask them to go ahead and just react to the announcement. And this will let me know. And I have them react by liking it or loving it, some type of reaction to let me know you saw this announcement, so that we're on the same page, so that when Friday comes, I need everyone to bring their project to class. Whether it's from home, I need you to have your project at the table so that you can present it to the class on Friday. And then students can, or you can have them just reply and just say, I saw the post, and they can just reply, so that all the conversation is right there together. So that's just one practice. Another thing that you can do right here in post, and this is with a quick poll. You can do a quick poll, and I don't want to, well, I'll show you. It may take too long. You know what we have, I'm going to show you one that I created. Let me see if I can create a new one real fast. Okay, and so I have this going to my Educator Alexander webinar. So I'm going to create one real fast. It's a multiple choice question. I'm going to say, how are you feeling? And I can quickly enter my choices. And I'm just using the Windows keyboard just to get a quick emoji response. Because maybe I'm working with young students. You can enter words. They may be sad, so I just need to know how they're feeling. This is another way for me to bring in that SEL. And so then I can preview it. And if I like it, I just send it out. And it notifies me that there's a poll was created. And there it is, just like that. And now my students can submit a vote. And I get real-time feedback instantly with no names, but this is a good way for me to do a check on students to see how they're feeling. I can also instantly add a YouTube video. And I like to go to Mike Tholfsen, and I have his playlist on that resource page. He is the principal product manager for Microsoft Education. He has his own YouTube channel, quick how-to videos for, and I was going to do one. He has how-to quick tip videos. I'll just do one on Immersive Reader. And I can just post this real fast for my students to watch and have them respond to the video, reply to the video. So that's another way that you can use it. This is how we would add resources, as we said. And then there are other forms. I could do a quick form as well. So these are just quick ways that I can use the post tab. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Can you share to multiple channels?
Absolutely, you can. So I should have, okay, let me do one. I'm going to show you, I'll create something and share it to multiple channels. But yes, you can. And I'll show you right here when I created this new conversation or a new announcement, right here, post in multiple channels. So then I select the channels that I want to post in, and I can click all of these channels so that, or any of these teams. I don't just have to post in one team. I can post across all of my teams in various channels. And it's just with a click of a button, you post to multiple channels.
Awesome. Can parents get access to see resources assignments without getting access to the grade book?
Yes, you can. And so that is, let me see, that is going to be in manage. I think that is in manage the team. I have to go back and see. Let me look in the general, but I think that is in manage the team. Does that allow me to get up there? Let's see. But yes, to answer your questions, you can get a link for parents to, no, that's adding. So what I will do, Desiree, I will add that information because I can't show it. It's not allowing me to show, but yes, you can send parents information so that they just have parent access, parent view.
Okay, and as long as they know they can do it, they can Google it and find the information of how to do it. As long as we can't answer everything in this one.
All right.
What can you schedule a meeting in a private channel?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so you know what? I have meetings on the presentation, but you know what? We'll go ahead and go to meetings right now. But yes, you can schedule a meeting. So what I'll do right now is to show you how you schedule meetings. And there are multiple ways that you can schedule meetings in Teams. So the first thing is you have a calendar. Well, actually, I'll show you. Let me go back out to this team real fast. So I'm in this team. I'm going to discard that. And let me see, where is my meet now? I don't even see my meet now. Okay, so I'll do it this way. So right here in calendars, you can do a quick meet now, or you can schedule a new meeting. So I will schedule a new meeting. And you guys, this is my actual calendar. You see how packed it is? So this is a test. You can require attendees or not. So I'm not going to require anyone. So I'll schedule this for what, 12:30 to 1:30. And here, right here, add channel. Once again, all of my teams pop up. And let me find my remote learning channel. I'll just do it to, was it at the top? I'll just do it to one of these. This is one of the old channels. All right, and I'm going to post that to general. So you can see you can add it across multiple channels, and then I send it. And so now this meeting is in that channel. Or I can do a quick meet now. If I know that my teammates are in this team that I'm in already, I can do a quick meet now. I don't have to schedule a meeting. I can come right up here to my camera, click it, do a quick meet now, and just click meet now. And so anyone, and my video isn't working because the video from Zoom is working. So any of my teammates that are right on in this team right now, we could have an instant pop-up meeting. So this is just like if you were in your school or in the office and you just have a quick hall meeting, this is the same concept to do a quick meet now. Any other questions about meeting? And everything is you can record everything, and the recorded video will come right here into the channel where the meeting took place, just like this content did. Before I move on, any other questions about post and scheduling meetings or anything that we've done so far?
Yes. What, in your opinion, is the best way to organize and post a daily lesson that may have a video, some assignments, websites?
Okay, so I will show you. Okay, so what I would do, first thing I would do, general is automatically there. I would organize by class periods just to make it easier for you and your students to find the resources for your class. I would also have, depending on the grade level of the students, I may have, and let me create a quick channel to show you how easy. I don't know why my things are not showing down here. I would create a channel for each class, and then that way, just like this channel, they have all of the resources here. And you could do a quick video right in there. Whatever you do could be right in their channel, so that they don't have to go out to multiple places. But to bring in those resources, I'm going to go ahead and show you. You guys are ahead of me, but I'm going to go ahead and show you and just do it the way, because this is flowing. So what you do to bring in additional resources, and if you see here, I have multiple tabs. You can bring in additional resources, and these are called tabs. This is where I say the magic happens. This allows you to really make your team real powerful. This is where you bring in those third-party applications like a Flipgrid. So all you would do here, if I had a Flipgrid link or URL, I would just post it here, and it would automatically post it to that channel. And it says post to the channel about this tab, and that's what you would have it do. You could also do a website. Like if there's a website that you normally use all the time, you could just put the URL there, and it would add the website, and everything will be contained right in that team. And I've actually added some tabs here, and I'll show you how to do one on the fly. I added a Flipgrid one here so that students could post without leaving teams. So you can do that. What other tab did I add? I also added, let's see, I added a link to a Wakelet. So you can bring your Wakelet in. A Wakelet, I don't know if you guys use Wakelet, but a Wakelet is a good way to have all of your content curated in one area, especially if you're starting like a new unit or something. You can have a Wakelet for that, for all of the resources to be right there in that lesson for students. You could also, any of your favorite websites that you use for that lesson, just put it in there for the students. Let me see what else. Now I did this one from Nearpod, I think. I brought in a live lesson. You can just have them join the session. And just like that, they have instant access to the live lesson. And all of that's done with tabs without students ever having to leave. And I can make it larger if I want to, without students ever having to leave the team. And then I can just exit the lesson. So yes. I hope that answered your question. And you see right here, Nearpod, I brought it right into Teams without ever having to leave.
Thank you. We are good. Please continue.
Okay. All right. So we will continue from here. We talked about files. Okay. And so files allows you to, as we say, easily upload and share to give students access to the resources so that they can instantly collaborate. So remember, when you create new, this is when they can collaborate. If you upload, they can't collaborate on that document, only when you create new. So just keep that in mind. The OneNote class notebook, as we said, this comes with all class teams. And if you're not familiar with OneNote class notebook, think of it as the modern day Trapper Keeper. And you know, I'm probably dating myself, but I used to get so excited for back to school because we would get the Trapper Keepers and all the new school supplies. So think of this as the modern day Trapper Keeper. The digital binder, there are 3 different spaces in this notebook. You have the collaboration space. This is where every person in that notebook can collaborate on any documents within that collaboration space, whether it's teachers or students. You then have the content library in that notebook. Think of the content library as your own private file cabinet for the teacher. So students the only thing they can do with the content library is look at the content. They can't edit, they can't do anything. So that's like your file cabinet. But what you can do as a teacher from the content library, you can distribute documents out to students so that they have it, and it will go to their own private notebook. So within this OneNote, every single student in your class has their own private notebook. So, and I'm going to show you what that looks like because the OneNote class notebook is amazing. So I'm going to go here have to go to General because it's located in General. So the class notebook, this is how it's set up. And I'm going to make this, and it gives you the option to either open it in the browser, or if you have the app, you can open it in the app. All of these documents give you the option to open it either way. So I'm going to make this a little larger so that you can see. So as we said, this is the collaboration space. This is where everyone in that notebook can collaborate on whatever resources are in that notebook. And if you see, these are all of my different channels from my teams. There are also tabs within this notebook. And here's our Educator Alexander tab right here. I didn't have to do anything. Team sets this up for you automatically when you create the team. And then the content library, think of this as the teacher's file cabinet. This is where students can see the resources, but they can't make any changes to it. And then the students, because I'm the owner of this team, I can see all of my students' notebooks, but what the student sees, they only see their notebook. So what that notebook looks like when you open it up, and you can customize this notebook any way you want to. They will have a section for handouts, class notes, homework quizzes, and you can always add or remove sections within that notebook. And so this is where the digital notebook comes in. Students can complete anything, they can add any content. If they have a touchscreen device like a tablet, they can annotate, do whatever they need to within that notebook. And you as a teacher have access to those notebooks, and you can give constant feedback or whatever right within that notebook. All right. So continuing on. All right, we talked about the tabs. We already said what tabs is where the magic happens, and it really is, guys. This is how you can take your team platform to the next level with tabs. And that's just by clicking that plus sign and then bringing any of this content in. So one thing, let me just share with you as a teacher. You're going to have to do some work on the front end, like to set up your team, whatever resource you want embedded within that lesson or whatever for students to have access to. On the front end, you're going to have to go in and go to these sites, probably set up, maybe if I was doing Bunsey, go ahead and get my boards together and then copy the URL to tab so that the students don't have to leave out a team. So there's a little work on the front end for the teachers, but it saves tons of time at the end. And I wanted to show you guys this because, you know, data is so important. Now we want to see how our students are interacting, how they've been active, and if you know, your administrator may want to see if students have been active in your team. So what you can do, there is a feature called Insights. And Insights is really like your data dashboard about your team. So since students don't have access to Class Insights, so I'm going to uncheck this. I don't want them to see that. So I'll save this. So what it does, it lets you know all of the activity that has taken place in your team over the past 30 days, the past 7 days, or you can specify the date. It gives you like the digital percent of digital activity, the average grade on assignments, the time spent on assignments from students, the average time that it takes for you to get feedback to students, and then the communication activity, like within posts. Has there been a lot of communication going on? So you can let your admin see this to see how active your class is on Teams, and just let them see how wonderful you are and how such a superhero of a teacher you are, because all your students are engaged and they're doing the work on time and no one is late. So this is a great way for you to document who you are as a teacher and why your students are so great. All right, so if you can put in the chat, I want to know how many of you have heard of Immersive Reader? Has anyone heard of the Microsoft Learning Tools or Immersive Reader? And if you can let me know just if there have been if a few people have heard of it or not. And I'm going to show you why Immersive Reader is so important, because within Teams, it supports all students. It creates an inclusive learning environment for all students, and I'm going to show you how. Did we have any participants that are familiar with the Immersive Reader? You may have seen it in some of the other Microsoft products or some of the third-party products, but Immersive Reader is built right into Teams. So I'm going to go here
Some
to,
have and some haven't. So it's
okay,
kind of
so
split right down the middle.
okay, so that's fine. So Immersive Reader is a part of the Microsoft Learning Tools, and these are just reading, writing, math, and communication tools that give students access to content. So if I come up here, let me, you know what, I'm going to add a doc. I think I may have one already in here that I added. Let's see. I think I may have added a Word document so that we could see. Yes, I did. And actually, you know what, guys? You can add up to 10 documents at a time if you want your students to work on something and you need multiple resources. This is just some of the content that I added so that I could demonstrate what all was needed. Let me see where those Word documents are. Right here. Oh, keeps moving. I'll just keeps moving on me. There we go. So I am in Teams. So I was able to open this up, but I wanted you to see, let me see if I can go to the review. That's not where I wanted. I wanted to show you right in, I'm gonna show you right in Teams. So I'm gonna come out of this one and show you right here. So on within Teams, on anything that you hover over or the students hover over, and you just have to hover over a task, click on the three dots, and within Teams, guys, the three dots is where a lot of additional content is. Students, the immersive readers right here, when you click those three dots. So what it does, it allows, or it becomes a read aloud for students. So it will read anything on the page for the students. And you may not be able to hear this. Let me.
Ford, Felisa, Thursday, July 30th, 2020, 9:24 p.m. Added a new tab at the top of this channel.
And so what that does, it reads aloud to the students, but it also gives students control over the content. So say, for instance, this was a Word document that you put in there for students, they can determine, like if they are visually impaired, they can determine the text size of it. They can determine like how much spacing is between it. They can also change the font. And if they can even change the background of it, depending on what type of impairment. They may just like the color, so they can do that. They can also, here with the grammar options, if you're teaching littles or students who may struggle, you can have it label the parts of speech for them. You know, as you start the new school year off, you may have a best practice where you're going to have students label all nouns will be green, or you can always change the color. So, and just have it label nouns if students are struggling with identifying nouns. You can have it label the verbs if students are struggling with that. So that's a part of it. And then you can have it show the labels if students are still unclear. So those are tools in there. And then you can also have it translate. Let me go back up to, let me turn that on. You can have it translate for you to multiple languages. I think there are over 50 languages, maybe even 65 languages that you can have the students, and the students are controlling this. When I say you, but the students have control of this. They have access to all of this. Even a picture dictionary is there. So if there's like this word, let me see if it will read aloud words that they don't understand. And that picture dictionary, if there was a picture for this and link isn't, they don't have a picture for that. But maybe a tab, do they have a picture? No, they don't have a picture for that. But if there is a picture for some of the words for students, the picture dictionary would pop up as well. So that's the immersive reader. They can also translate right in the document as well, without even having to go to immersive reader. Translate as an option as well. All right, so I know we got to keep going. So much to share. All right, so that was accessibility in Teams. We talked about the power of tabs and engagement with Teams. So class flow in Teams. So how do you make sure that it flows in Teams? I'm going to show you. You can share files. We talked about sharing files. We talked about making announcements. We talked about dividing students into projects, and you can do that by the channels. You can make projects or small groups by channels, and create and distribute grades and distribute assignments. So you can do all of that within Teams. We talked about all of that. I just want to make sure. So I'm going to show you how you would distribute an assignment and how you would create an assignment in Teams. So if I go back to my Teams, and let's click on, let me go back to the general. Click on the assignments tabs right here. So I can easily, you see I have 2 assignments already. They've already been assigned, and anything you assign, you can assign it to either all or one person. So I come down here and click create, and I can create an assignment or a quiz, or I can create from an existing one of these. So I'm going to create an assignment and just name the assignment. And I recommend always using a category to make it easy for you to find it. And let's just tell them to do a book study project. You can add resources, multiple resources. You can add this is going to be worth 100 points. You can add a rubric if you have it, or you can create a rubric. You can, like you say, you can upload or add a new rubric, and you would just go through and add the points for that. And then you can use your rubrics over and over again. And then it asks, so which channel do you want to assign this to? So I'm going to assign it to remote learning, but I could assign it to any of the channels within my team. So I'm just going to assign it to remote learning. And then you have the option to assign it to all students, or if you just want to assign it to Melissa, because Melissa may need additional support or something, so I can assign it to her. So I'm going to assign it to Melissa, give it a due date and a time, and then you can decide if you will allow assignments they will to post immediately with late turn in. So you decide how you want it to happen. Can they turn it in late or whatever? You have control of all of that. So once we've done that, I assign it, and there it is. That fast, and it's due tomorrow. And now Melissa will get a notification over here in the activities that she has an assignment due. And so with the grades, it will give you a list of everything that has been assigned and the students and when they turned it in and what it was worth. So you get all of that, and then you can export it to Excel. So these are options that you have to quickly grade assignments, provide feedback. So it's like the grading cycle. Provide feedback, suggestions that students turn it in again. And if your school has turn it in as a part of Teams. So you can have it turned on, and it will check for plagiarism. So that's another feature that is available for teachers and students. Any questions on assignments and grading?
We are good to go.
Okay. All right, so we're moving right along. So we talked about scheduling a meeting. I want to actually walk you through a live meeting, one that I scheduled already. So let me go back to this team. I think, did I schedule it here? Let me go to my activity, because this is telling me that I have something going on. And within this chat, I have a meeting scheduled. So I'm going to go ahead and join this meeting so that you can see what it looks like live. So I will join it. So, and I'm joining it now. I can join it with my camera on or off. So I'm joining this meeting. So this is the toolbar. Of course, you have the camera, the mic, you have the option to share. And as we said, the 3 dots is where more action is always located. So you can show your device settings. Here you can see the meeting details if you need to share the meeting details with someone else, if they need to call in, or if students, their internet is acting up, you can have them call in to the meeting. So that's available there. You can also here, this is where you could record the meeting or end the meeting. So it's set up now that once you end the meeting, if you're the teacher and the organizer, students can't hang out in your classroom. So you wouldn't have them just hanging out unsupervised in your room. this will prevent them from hanging out unsupervised online, so that there's always an adult just by you clicking end meeting. Students can raise their hand if they have a question, and you will see it. And once you answer that question, you can lower their hand. Of course, we have the chat feature. And then with the participants, you can take attendance. Right here, it actually, you download the attendance list. It will take it for you, it lets you know, and it takes attendance by letting you know who was in the meeting, what time they came, and what time they left, and how long they stayed. So this will give you a snapshot of, if someone is habitually coming late, or if they are just popping in and then leaving early every day. This will give you all of that information so that you can have those conversations if needed. So this is on the web version. I often use the desktop version of Teams, and I use the desktop version of Teams because it has more features in it. And I'm going to join that same meeting from my desktop so that you can see what it looks like, the difference in the toolbars and what's available. So within the desktop, if you notice here, and it's because I have my camera going for the Zoom and you may not be able to see it, but I can turn on a virtual background in the desktop only. I can't do all of that in the web version, just the desktop. But there are a lot of different backgrounds that students can add in the desktop version, or I can just blur my background. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that you had two options for getting to Teams. All right. Let's see. All right, any questions? I know this is a lot, guys. I was trying to give you everything that I thought you may need. So this is probably too much. So we talked about the meetings. Let's see. Now, additional bonus content for you guys. Microsoft has created tons of resources for remote learning to help you get started with using Teams, and I put all of those links in the resources document that I've shared with you. They have resources that you can share with your parents, with students, with your administrator, and for you as a teacher to help you get started. So check out some of those resources. Also here are these quick start guides that I told you guys about. If you want to know anything about any Microsoft product, these quick start videos are just like 90-minute videos to help you get started on anything that you may want to learn about any Microsoft product, whether it's Teams, Immersive Reader, Learning Tools, PowerPoint, anything. And let me just say this, guys. I know we have a lot of Google users on here, but the Microsoft of today is not your grandmother's Microsoft. I love saying that because that means Microsoft has changed tremendously. There are tons of resources in Microsoft. So get in there and get in Office 365 and play with it. They have all of these Microsoft Teams training videos that will help you get started as well. And then I would strongly suggest you join the Microsoft Educator community. And there's a module in there. There are tons of resources in there. It's PD on your own, on-demand PDE. Teams, there's one on transforming learning with Microsoft Teams. If you want to know more, I would suggest you start there. But you can get badges, you can get power up, you become MIE certified, you can connect with other educators. So do that if you get a chance. Tons of resources for you. And these are those videos. This is the playlist that I was telling you about. So check that out as well. Are there any questions? And that is it. So I will come off of the presenting. Are there any
I would go ahead and stay on presenting because we definitely have some questions.
Okay, perfect.
So the first of all, I did post the certificate, everyone, the link to do that. So first of all is what was the join? Oh, I'm so sorry. Join a room button.
Okay, so that is in Manage Teams. When you go to, and I'll show you how to get there. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Just hide this. Okay, so let me go to the team to show you how to get there. So when I come to my teams, so come here to manage team, and I go to the, let me see, it's right here. Go to the manage team. I'm trying to see, where do I go to settings, and this is where you can control all of your permissions, how you let the students interact. So, and there was a question about the parent emails and getting information to parents. From Teams, you can send out a weekly email about assignments to parents right here in Teams. So once again, to get to this, you go to the 3 dots on the team that you're on, go to Manage Team, and then go to Settings. And this is where you can give your members permissions on what they can do. If you don't want your students to be able to add GIFs or do all of this fun interaction, you can control all of that there. You can also, let me go back up to the team code. This is where you would get that join code right here. You can share it full screen. You can make a copy. You can share with parents. So this will be a way for students to come into the team that way. And remember, they get to, when they go back to the teams, if you gave them a join code, they would just put that code in right here. I hope that answered your question.
Guys, any questions? If we missed them, put them in the chat. Just repost them, please. Next question, how can we check student live performance on their notebooks?
So you go to, let me go back to the team. So their live performance, you check it by being in the general channel. You come to the class notebook. Once you open that up, and I will pop this out to make it a little larger. And so then I will see my sections for my notebook. So I will go to Patrina's notebook, and there's probably nothing in there, but if I knew that there was homework in there, I could go to the homework tab, and if she had homework, if she had posted her homework, it would be right here in the homework tab. So I could check that. I could provide feedback, whether it was with a typed comment or a written comment. And that's how you can check it and grade the work. And then they can submit it. If it was an assignment, they would just submit that assignment.
Okay, the next question, I'm going to have Mary unmute herself and ask.
Okay.
First of all, Felisa and Desiree, thank you so much. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
It's so helpful. My question for you is, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I think simplicity is going to be the way to go this year.
Absolutely.
I teach 9th and 10th grade, 2 different classes, 2 to 3 different sections.
Okay.
Their daily go-to has just been a Google Doc set up, a table in it as a daily planner.
Okay.
I use OneNote. I use all those other tools. Is there something I can use like a calendar or daily planner on Teams?
Oh my gosh, I am so glad you asked. There is an actual planner. All right, so if you click the plus button, and planner is right here. So you could do like a, for the week, you could call it, create a new plan. So you could say week 1, and we can save that. So what it does, every student, well, it depends on how you can assign students to the plan, and then like to do. This is where you would assign tasks. You would add a task, set a due date for the task, and then you could assign like all the students in that, you could assign it to them. And this way they can keep up with, like, on track, stay on track. They will have a schedule of when things are due, so they can see what they need to work on. It will notify them when they've fallen behind, if they've missed a due date and everything. So it keeps them on track to kind of not fall behind and just stay on task.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then you can always add a new bucket if another project comes along that they have going on. Add a bucket and then add tasks and follow the same concept.
All right, I appreciate it.
And this, with the chart, it gives you a quick glance of who hasn't started, who is in progress, who's late, and who's completed the assignment.
Okie dokie. Next question. Can they set up their own stuff in the planner? Like, can they use it as an agenda book?
Absolutely, they can. They all have access to this. Once they get that Office 365 account, they have access to everything in here. And this is great, you're right, as a digital agenda to keep the students on task. So you might want to spend the first couple of days walking them through Planner so that they can stay on track and letting the parents know that this will help them stay on task with completing assignments and getting things turned in on time.
Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I'm just like, yes. Okay, and I already knew about this, and I'm still like, yes. It's just such an awesome tool. So guys, questions, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat, put them in the chat. If you had a question more like Mary's where you need to explain a little bit, we have a little time. So just let me know and I can let you unmute. I just don't want to turn unmute off for everybody, then everybody's trying to speak at the same time.
And
so
Desiree, I'm sorry. I have a suggestion also for everyone as you're setting it up, and you're right. It is so important. Simple is better as you're getting started with this. So I would just keep it simple to my classes, but I would also suggest you create a channel that is dedicated to your virtual office hours. And that way you can have it open. And once you set it up, you can create a schedule that it repeats every day at a certain time. If that's when you notify your students, this is when you will provide additional support or your virtual office hours so that you're not tied to your laptop, 24 hours. But follow whatever your school is saying, but that's just a tip that you can use.
I love that.
And this is how I did breakouts. What I did for the breakouts, I created for my students. I just utilized the schedule meeting. I named it Group 1, created another one, named it Group 2 for all of them to take place at the same time, and named it Group 3. And then you would have your students go into their particular group and join, like I showed you how you join a meeting, that's how they would do. And then once that meeting is over, then just have them come back out. You can end their meeting or have like roles. So someone ends the meeting after 15 minutes and then they come back out to the general class, back to that general meeting. So that's the way you can do breakouts for now until August when the true breakouts are coming to Microsoft Teams.
How can they add their Bitmoji like you have yours?
You have to go to your settings, like you will see your image up there and just change out your picture.
Can you pop in and out of their breakouts as a teacher?
Absolutely you can, because you're the owner, so you pop in and out of all of this. You have total control, total access to everything.
Okay, so this is the last call for a question. Put them in the chat, or if you want me to unmute you, just kind of put in the chat to unmute. But we do have a couple of questions coming in, so you don't have to invite them to each breakout.
No, you don't. You don't. You can just tell them to go which room which group they're in, and they go to that breakout.
And how do you in the breakout rooms?
So, okay, how do they get in?
Now, how, I'm so sorry, I think you were still answering the first one about not inviting them. And then the second question was, how do you end breakout rooms?
Okay, so what you do, when they go here, they just join that breakout room. So the student joins now. And like I said, I would have roles like a moderator or someone in charge, and you tell them, because you can pop in. So you can either come in and end it for the students, or you have the moderator end it. And just like they all have access to everything in this breakout room where they can share their screen, they can do anything, they can record their breakout section right here in the breakout room. The chat would be recorded as well. And then you can take attendance right there. No, it's not allowing you to take it. Let me see, who does it? Yes, you can take attendance from the breakout rooms as well. And then you just end it by hanging up. And that ends the breakout room for everyone.
Some have a lot of stuff in Google Docs. Will creating a link as the assignment work?
Absolutely. So if you go to the assignments, let me see if I can go to, oh, those are all of my assignments. When I come back to my team, I go to General, and I go to assignments, yes, you can just add a link to the assignment from Google Docs so that you're not reinventing any, like where it says add resources, you could add it there. Like a page, just put the link there. You can also, for that tab, you can add the link to the tab for their assignments. However you choose to do it. You would just go to website, just get the URL for whatever that Google, doc, whatever the link is, just add it here. So there are multiple ways that you can add resources to assignments and to teams.
If showing a video, does the sound automatically come through the computer?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Thank you. So I'm going to go back and show you how, when you are showing, let me join. So when you're in the team and you're getting ready to share, like if you're sharing your screen, what you need to do, make sure you select this button right here, include system audio, and then your video sound will automatically come through. And I strongly recommend that you share your desktop, not just the windows, but it just makes it so much easier to share a desktop. Now there's whiteboard also available in any of your meetings that you have. So you can also have them have real-time collaboration via whiteboard. So that's an option as well, because depending on the content, you might want them to do iterations of their ideas or their processes for working out problems and things. And this whiteboard has templates, whether it's a KWL template, a brainstorming template, all of that's available in the whiteboard. So I suggest just getting in here and playing with it because you can't break it. So just feel your way around, go to some of the resources that are in the educator community, or go to Mike Tholfsen's his YouTube account, and look at it. And then you can reach out to me if you have additional questions. I think my contact information is on there. You can follow me on Twitter, direct message me, however you need to.
And is that the best way for them to contact you, is through Twitter?
Actually, they can do my email. Let me see. Let me come out of this. I'll put it on the screen. Okay, so I'm on Twitter a lot, and this is why you can get to me anytime, the Gmail. Either Gmail or Twitter. Guys, I hope this was helpful. I really love helping people get started, educators get started with teams, and anything that I can do to help you. If you have questions, not sure, you can reach out. Of course, the educator community, I would definitely join that, because that's your own demand. Anything you want to know about Microsoft Teams, Microsoft products, remote learning, it's all there for you.
Thank you so much, guys.
You are welcome.
Reached out to her and was just like, hey, come present. She was like, all right. Like, it was just that simple. So, to do this for free, that's nothing to take lightly, guys.
I love helping educators. I love it. Yeah, I have been in this game for 27 years. So I am on the downside. But I love it.
Well, thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you, guys.